we can actually go into an international break without manager talk, without misery, because Manchester United have won a game, and not just won a game, but I think we won a game playing quite well. Look, the second half wasn't great, but we were 2-0 up at that point, and I think it was just about managing the game and seeing it out. But there was a lot of positives from the game, and I'm going to start with the positives, then again, going to get into the negatives. So we've got to start with the number one positive, and I'm going to stand up for this. I'm going to move my camera. And you might be going, Alice, who are you clapping? I'm clapping Senne Lammens. I'm clapping our new goalkeeper signing. And look, I'm already going to see comments. Don't get carried away. This is one game versus Sunderland. I am aware of that. You know, this is just one game versus Sunderland. We cannot be getting carried away. But I just seen a Manchester United goalkeeper for the first time in years claim a cross. Not just once, but twice. Reach it up, claiming a cross. Not only did he claim across Senne Lammens, but when he saved the ball, instead of doing a Nana or Bandier and pushing it right back into the penalty box to fall into the opponent's feet so they can tap it in the net and score, he pushed the ball out of play. And then when there's a basic save, instead of going for his legs, he saves it. When there's a more difficult save, he reaches out and saves it. Nana, not a good shot stopper. Bandier and Nana, not very good at claiming crosses. Bandier and Onana, when they do save a shot, they love to push it back into the box. Lammens pushed it out of play. I am really happy with that Lammens performance. And look, the fact that we've not kept a clean sheet all season, in our first game with Lammens, we've kept a clean sheet, I don't even know if that's a coincidence. Now, of course, this is one game. This is one game against Sunderland. We know Manchester United players can look good for 1 or 2 games. We start to back them again. We start to get excited. We start to hype up players, and then they become shite. This is Manchester United. I am aware of that. But you know me, when I can be positive, I will be positive. I try and be as positive as I want. You know, I got labeled toxic positivity fan, and then I get called negative the minute I start saying bad things. You can't win on YouTube. But Lammens was good. And I'm already seeing people giving me stick on Twitter for praising Lammens. Look, it's Sunderland. It's one game. I'm going to enjoy that. A goalkeeper claiming crosses. For me, I honestly think this is the first game we've had all season where I haven't had anything bad to say about the goalkeeper. Do you know how nice that is? So Lammens was good. Sesko was really good, and I think people are lying about Sesko and acting like he's crap, this and that, and all of that. And look at Sesko. It wasn't just about his goals today, but we scored 2 scrappy goals in the last 2 games through Sesko, and we weren't scoring scrappy goals. And I say scrappy goals, but like goals that are that close. But what I saw about Sesko was the hold-up, the linking, the hold-up play, linking play. You know, I just thought Sesko's all-round game was good. That Sesko probably deserved another goal for his performance today. You know, if you took away Sesko's goal, he still would have had a really good game today. He took the ball down really nice and played a really nice pass into Mbeumo, who had one of the worst shots I've ever seen. But I want to give credit to Sesko because a lot of people are saying, writing that he's rubbish, this and that. Sesko, and I said this many times, and I always said I would have rather signed a midfielder than Sesko, and that was purely because I said we're throwing another young striker into an environment that isn't very stable, where we don't create the striker a lot of chances, and you're expecting him to produce a miracle, and there's going to be a huge amount of pressure because he's at Manchester United. But Sesko's showing what he's about, and I actually watched Sesko today, and I just thought, you know what? I think this guy's going to succeed at Man United. It's really hard to be a striker, particularly a young striker, and succeed at Manchester United. But I said Sesko's got too much ability. He does. And look, we obviously thought Rasmus was going to succeed based off his first season, and he's gone to Napoli, and Rasmus is showing he's a good player. But Sesko's all-round play is better than Rasmus's. Look, Sesko is young, he's raw, and he doesn't get service. And, you know, that there's going to be games he's going to struggle in. And, he struggled in the first few games. But I always said Sesko is just that level ahead of Højlund in terms of his development, which meant it was an upgrade on Højlund. You know, he wasn't the ready-made striker. We don't give a load of service for our striker, but he was an upgrade. And I think there's been a lot of lies about Sesko and a lot of people wanting him to fail, particularly Newcastle fans, particularly Arsenal fans. But Sesko has 1 less goal than Gyökeres now this season, and one of Gyökeres' goals a penalty. Sesko has the same amount of open play goals as Gyökeres, and Gyökeres is doing this in a team that scores goals, a team that plays better than us, and Gyökeres has played a lot more minutes. So take with that what you will. But yeah, I've got a lot of things to talk about. And I'm going to get my notes up from the game and share my general thoughts on the game and what we learned, because I want to talk about Amad. I think Amad was arguably man of the match. I want to talk about positive things. Now, all of a sudden, you know, people go, Alice, we've won a game. I told you it wasn't the system, this and that. I judged the system off the 33-game sample size, so we've got 34 points, not off 1 game. If Ruben Amorim, in his next 33 games, gets 60 to 70 points for the Manchester United, I will sit here and say I was wrong about the system. Okay? Ruben Amorim, don't have a bad word to say about him today. Ruben Amorim deserves credit. Ruben Amorim set us up very well. I think he made very good calls with his substitutions. I think Ruben Amorim's game plan was spot on today. And I don't have a bad thing to say about Ruben Amorim today. And I don't have a bad thing to say about any of the players, other than maybe Delo. I thought Delo was pretty poor today. Okay? If Ruben Amorim, the next 33 games, produces something like that and we get 60, 70 points from our next 33 games, I will sit here, I will say I was wrong, and I will say the system was never the problem. Okay? I will sit and say that. But this is one game. We need Man United to do that the next game. We need us to go and get back-to-back wins. We haven't got that this season. We played well. The first, I'm not going to lie, the second 45 minutes wasn't great. Why have I put... I've just realised in my notes, it says Man United 2-0 Leeds. Man United 2-0 Sunderland. Did I say Leeds at the start of the video? I meant Sunderland. I don't know why my notes says Leeds. I'm probably getting confused because I was doing a video on Tottenham earlier. But I want to talk about it. Look, I'm going to say many things. This is a win at home versus a newly promoted side. We should be expecting to win this game 2-0. Despite Sunderland starting well and us starting badly, we should be, with the players that we have, with the money that we pay our players, with the money that we spent, we should be expected to beat a newly promoted side 2-0. Yeah? I've got very positive things to say about the players. I think the manager got it spot on today, and I will not say a bad thing about Ruben Amorim. But I'm already getting people come at me like, told you Alistair's system wasn't a problem. This is one game. The second half wasn't great. And I'll say this now. If the next 33 games we get 60 plus points, I will apologise to Ruben Amorim and I will be Amorim in. But I need to see what we get from our next games versus Liverpool and Palace. I need to see us go on a run. Because if we play crap in our next 3 games, then we're all of a sudden talking about how rubbish things are and how we need the manager sacked. But if we go and play well in our next 3-4 games, that's what I want to see. And I'd rather be wrong about Amorim and say, and we go and get 70 points from our next 33 games, and I'd rather be wrong about Amorim and do that than be right about Amorim and him get sacked. I'm going to say that now. I would rather sit here and do a video saying I was wrong about Amorim. I'd much rather be doing a video in a year's time saying I'm really wrong about Amorim, or a video at the end of the season saying I'm really wrong about Amorim, than Amorim gets sacked, by the way. But anyway, these are my notes. Amad, brilliant. So sharp, deserved a goal and assist for that performance. I thought Amad was fantastic today. Obviously, I did a video defending Amad the other day because fans were turning on Amad. And I was like, Amad was like our second best player last season. He's been a bit hit and miss this season. But fans were turning on Amad this season. And we saw Amad back at his best. And he deserved a goal and assist for that performance. As I said, Lammens, very strong debut. And Mbeumo, I thought was really good. I mean, Mbeumo's work rate is crazy. The only thing I will say is Cunha's work rate isn't that of Mbeumo and Mounts, which is maybe why Amorim started Mount. But I liked Cunha's cameo, who was drawing in fouls, but I think Cunha's a little bit too desperate to score. I thought Mason Mount had a good game, not just the goal, but I thought his movement, his patterns. I think Mason Mount's got a very clever IQ, which is why Ruben Amorim likes him so much, because he knows when to make that move or make that run. As I said here, Mount was sharp. Sesko scored again, but it wasn't just about his goal scoring. It was about his hold-up and passing. I thought Euro was solid. De Ligt and Shaw had good games. Delo's the only player today that I don't think had a good game. I think Ruben Amorim had a good game. I think the players had a good game. Delo's the only person I could say bad things about, but maybe he's not fully fit. Also, he just doesn't suit the system, Delo. First half was better than second. I don't think the second half was very good. I think we lacked control. And that's a worry because I do think there's so many second half performances we've been bad. Fulham, we were good in the first half, and now we're crap in the second half. Burnley were good in the first half, crap in the second half. And that does worry me that teams we play really well for half an hour. The team's managers figured out what we're doing. They changed their tactics, and we don't have an answer for that. And my only worries is dropping off in the second half, Ruben Amorim not having an answer to when the opposition's manager changes. And Delo, they're the only negative things I can say. I think everything else was good. The players and manager deserve credit, but we need to go and win back-to-back games now. This win means what means. This win will always mean something. 3 points on the table, but if we go and lose our next 3 games, or go and lose our next 2 games and draw, you look at this win and you're like, well, we needed to build upon this win. We need to build upon this win. And look, if we played like this week in, week out, I would not have many issues. I would not have many issues at all. The reason I've been critical on Amorim is the Brentford performance was a disgrace. The Grimsby performance was a disgrace. The Manchester City performance was a disgrace. And I'm already getting comments like, Alice, surely the system's to blame for Man United winning today. I'm already getting silly comments like this. And as I explained in this video, can't judge systems based on one-off games. I judge the system off a 33-game sample size, which had us getting 34 points, which was relegation level. Ten Hag was getting 70 points in that same period. If we go and get 65 plus points from our next 34 games, I will sit here and say the system was not a fault and I was wrong. I would rather be wrong than Amorim get sacked in a few weeks because we lose more games. For me, that's what I mean. My point is, You know, people are now saying, oh, I told you Ellis, the system wasn't the problem because we beat a newly promoted side at home. Ruben Amorim's system worked today in the first 45 minutes. The players were good today. I will praise Ruben Amorim, but this is one game. It's the same with Le Mans. I'm praising Le Mans. I'm like, he's claiming across Le Mans is amazing. This is one game. This is one game from Le Mans. You know, this is one game from these players. This is one game from this manager. And we saw that in the first half versus Burnley. And we saw that at points versus Fulham. And I think we looked quite good in the Arsenal game. But we need to be looking good across a bigger sample of games. And I'll say this now, 34 points in Amorim's 33 games is a disgrace. And that is a sackable offence. And that is why I've been calling for the manager out. But if we go and get 65 plus points in our next 34 games, I will apologise to Ruben Amorim. And I will give Ruben Amorim credit today. And I'll sit here and I'll say, I've been critical on Ruben Amorim. And I've been critical on this player. And I've been critical on that player. I'll give Luke Shaw credit today. It was really good. I'll give Ruben Amorim credit today. It was good. I think it worked really well. And this is Sunderland. They're a good side. They're a newly promoted side at home, so you expect us to beat them. But they have been very good this season. But I need to see more of this. But look, I'm super happy. Super happy with the new goalkeeper. Super happy with Sesko. Super happy with Mbeumo. Super happy with Amad. Bruno was so unlucky not to score. I think if the Sunderland keeper stopped it being 3-4-0, and we got a clean sheet. So I'm super happy. We can go into the international break with a bit of positivity. And let's hope we keep it up. Thank you for watching. Bye.